like
So
that.
the question is, why doesn't everyone know about this? Why isn't this as famous as Ozempic? Why is this not as obvious as... And part of it is, let me suggest my view, because I've talked to people about Ozempic and Mounjaro, or whatever you want to call it, tirzepatide in my case. And see, I think I had a kind of... Because pharmaceuticals saved my life, I have a completely different view of pharmaceuticals. And from my point of view, they've given me 30 years of life that my best friend did not have. So
what's your
yourself.
regimen like now? Do you have to take a bunch of pills or just...
For HIV? Mm-hmm. One.
Oh, wow.
One.
Were you ever on AZT?
I was on 32 at one point, including AZT.
Oh my God.
And ritonavir and sequinavir and all the... I went through them all. We were desperate not to die. And I would, as I said, I took at peak 32 pills a day to conquer HIV. No wonder I had nausea.
Did you have friends who were also on the same drug regimen who didn't survive?
Yes. And because it was too late. And some of them, I'll tell you this, some of them survived because of weed. Because the weed enabled them to tolerate it. But in general, once the cocktail arrived, it worked pretty amazingly well in general. But obviously, once your immune system had been destroyed and it was harder for some to recover than others. But most amazingly did. So where does the stigma come? Like, why are we reluctant? It's like, why? I have a friend who's, let's say, obese. And I said to him, why don't you... Who did succeed in losing a great deal of weight on his own, put a little bit back, and I was like, so, we would try this. Oh, I won't do that. Nope, not do that. Yeah. I'm not cheating. They say.
Yeah.
And that is very common. It's what they all say. They can't do this. I'm taking a pill. That's not fair. What is this?
I think that it's a few things. When it comes to naltrexone, the reason that everybody doesn't know about this is partly economic. So this drug has been generic. The DuPont had the patent on it, but that patent ran out decades ago. So because it's generic, it's very cheap and readily accessible. But that also means that no drug company is marketing it because they can just be undercut by the drug marketer down the street. So that's part of it. There is a long-acting form called Vivitrol, which is patented, and that's expensive. You take it once a month. So there is, I don't think I've ever seen like an ad for Vivitrol, but there are some.
If you take that once a month, you can't have the same, you can't have the
it's not the Sinclair
off.
method.
Right.
It is a lower daily dosage. So I don't know if you would have this sort of grayish feeling. And I've talked to people for whom Vivitrol works really well. Vivitrol can also, I think, work better for people who aren't as motivated, who aren't as able to to comply with the instructions. That can be an issue with this. Is you have to take the fucking pill or it doesn't work. So that's part of it. Medical education is part of it as well. So for many, many decades in this country, the only education that most general practitioners, ER doctors, these frontline doctors who most of us see, the only education they would have gotten during 4 years of med school and 4 years of residency and whatever extra training they did would have maybe be to attend one AA meeting. AA has had this kind of stranglehold on the legal system. So you can be compelled to go to AA if you get in trouble with the law. If you're in prison and you need to go to a halfway house after you go to prison, you can be compelled to go to 12-step meetings. So that's all culturally part of it. But when you're talking about Ozempic, you really tapped into something, which is this, maybe it's an American thing. I don't know what it is, but people oftentimes have this impression that recovery should be hard. And that oftentimes comes, I think, from people who have done it the hard way. And the people who end up into addiction care, people who are working at rehabs and who are people who are in this industry, oftentimes they did this the hard way. They did rehab. They did 90 meetings in 90 days. They joined these communities. And so for one thing, they've just seen this work. But I also think there's something, in many cases, something a little maybe subconscious here, which is, like your friend, if you go out and you lose 100 pounds by counting your calories and walking and lifting weights, that is fucking hard. And why shouldn't everybody have to do it the hard way. It feels a little unfair. And I don't think that's a conspiracy. I think it's a very natural human impulse.
Reminds me of some early reactions to PrEP among gays. Because suddenly we had this pill that would, if you took it once a day, you couldn't get infected.
Right.
So some people were saying at the time, oh, I use rubbers all the time. I use condoms. And this is the way you're not going to use condoms. And therefore it's bad. And because they had spent years putting this piece of rubber on their wing. Suffering. And these people are going to take a little pill once a day and be able to.
It seems like cheating.
There's also a kind of puritanical element to this too. Somehow,
totally.
What I've done by being addicted is sinful, and therefore I must have some sort of purgatory.
Yes. The thing is,
be cleansed of it.
But the thing is, addiction itself is suffering. And I think for people who have suffered at the hands of addicts, because it's not only ourselves that suffer, it's our families, it's our communities, it's society. It seems as though there should be some punishment for the sin, but the punishment is the addiction. Addiction is hell on earth.